So it's finally over. The 20th war has finally ended. The colonials have won. Really don't know what to really think about it, really. I feel like kind of after they pushed through the middle regions, the war was basically lost at that point. But I kind of did have the slimmest hope that we might be able to make a counterattack and maybe push them back as well. Sadly it didn't work out the way I planned, but that's that. The biggest question on my mind, I would have to say, is whether the colonials won the war or if the Wardens lost it. I feel like the answer to this is somewhere in the middle. See, despite having the colonials pinned down in their three initial legions, their home legions, it seems that most of the Warden personnel, including myself, just became apathetic to the entire war, really considering it won, and we merely probably dragged it out a little bit just to see if we could get battle tanks and nuclear missiles, though the latter would become more ironic as the war dragged on. It seemed like we were going to win, essentially, as even when the colonials got battle tanks in the home regions, we were still holding them back, essentially. But when we got our battle tanks, I feel like we maybe got overconfident in it, and overconfident in our ability to probably just push into the home regions, that we were merely toying with the colonials. I feel like that was maybe the primary reason why. Maybe it led to overconfidence. Maybe it led to too much of a mindset that we could hold them off indefinitely. Even I found myself really not really interested in winning over certain regions, but merely just testing out wanting to get battle tanks, essentially. I feel like the idea of the battle tanks and the nukes themselves paved the way to what an apathy, in the sense that we didn't want to end the war. And this is not saying that the colonials did not put up a great fight. I mean, they won, essentially. Even when we had them, up against the wall at Westgate and Umber Wildwood and Heartlands, they still continued to fight regardless of the cost. I mean, the ending casualties are astounding. Almost 2 million dead, essentially. The majority of casualties being taken by the colonials. It's very interesting, I have to say. Yeah, there's like a 30,000 casualty difference between them. I find it really interesting, I have to say. One of the most actually fascinating parts about it is the fact that I guess we almost took 100,000 casualties in our home region alone, despite the fact that the war only took place in the home regions for only a couple of days. The majority of the fighting took place in the middle regions. And Westgate, actually no, the most treacherous battlefields that took the most casualties are all the skirmishing regions, simply because of the fact that they were always an active war zone, essentially. There wasn't a single moment where people weren't fighting to the death over these regions. And out of all of them, Breaker Isles is the most sought after region of all. That took the heaviest of casualties from both sides. The Wardens lost over 90,000 people, and the colonials almost lost 100,000 people, essentially, trying to take the region. It's absolutely insane. I guess one of, what is it? I feel that maybe, what is it? The biggest thing that held back this war, in my opinion, is the lack of ability to actually condense forces. Like, there's still the 160 player cap, 80 on each side. You can't, without the ability to increase that further so if they can optimize the engine more so, or we can get 200 or maybe 300 people or so on a region where we have essentially 100 to 150 people on both sides. I want to make it so the 9 main regions are the only ones fought over, just because the detachment of the skirmish islands just seems to be, it seems to be weird because of the fact that you can't take over the island. You essentially have to not only push the enemy back to their port base, but then you have to set up a siege effort, a constant siege effort. If you fought on Tempest Island, you would have the situation where we would essentially push the colonials all the way back to their port base, and then we would have to constantly siege them. And then most of us would just leave, and then the colonials would just destroy the defenses that were there, and yeah, move and take other cities essentially. It was a never-ending cycle. You couldn't just like set up endless defenses because they would just slowly grind away at them. No, I feel like that's the biggest downside as well. So the lack of interconnecting regions with huge amounts of people just on the region as a whole, instead of being spread out across all these different skirmish maps that have really no connection to one another essentially, besides Orbreaker Isles. Even Fisherman's Row says that it's supposed to be connected to Moyne County, but that really doesn't seem to be the case, so I don't know about that, really. But overall, this was a hard-fought war, I have to say. What is it? One last thing. I know I condemned WNS or so, heavily or so, but despite that, I really don't feel that they cost us the war, essentially. I don't feel like that is the case entirely. Maybe the loss of morale and the huge controversy surrounding it or so might have dampened all spirits and, boasted the colonials, but I truly feel that it was the second we stopped trying to win the war, when we were more interested in just getting better technology than, well, not better technology, but just seeing everything the patch had to give us, basically, to see the battle tanks, to see the V2 rockets, to see all that. It was the second that we focused on just getting to the end-game content than we were actually trying to win the war that really cost us, the Wardens, you know, any chance of winning. As you can't win a war half-cocked, essentially. You just have to go in there and win it, essentially. And I feel that going into War 21, which is probably already started already by the time this video comes out, we would have learned from our mistakes in War 20 and would have now made moves to not only, what is it? Of course our sides will mess around, but we would have moved past our need to see battle tanks and see nukes and to instead focus on capturing victory points, holding and locking down regions, and just in general winning the war, as that is the primary goal of any faction, essentially. So we don't have to deal with the sorrow state of defeat. Though I have to say, as defeats go, it seems that we Wardens took it quite well, I guess. We were just kind of over the war as it was, so at least it didn't dampen our spirits, I suppose. But, yes. Good game to the Colonials or so. Well played, well played. We'll see how War 21 goes going into the next year. And as always, take care. Happy New Year's, guys. And I will catch you guys next time.
With the Blaster Runes down in J12.
Building for sure.
I was never an